Pokemon games are rated for kids, and yet the code is out there creating softlocks, impossible captures, and Poké Balls that straight up lie to you. So today I'm counting down 10 Pokemon facts that sound fake but they're real. If you want a part 2, tell me in the comments because I have way more of this. Alright, number 10. In Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum you can find Rotom at the Old Chateau. Rotom is not a legendary, not a mythical, not even rare for the lore. And yet the battle uses the legendary Pokemon battle music and intro animation. The same dramatic presentation you'd expect from something like a box legendary, not a haunted microwave. So if you grew up thinking Rotom was a legendary, congratulations, the game basically told your brain that it was. In Pokemon Earth Gold and Soul Silver you can trade in a Giratina, but it can't hold the Griseous Orb during the trade, which means no orb, no origin form. So how do you get a Giratina in origin form with the orb in Earth Gold and Soul Silver? You need Arceus to activate the Sinjo Ruins event. Then you can choose Giratina at the altar and you receive it in origin form holding the Griseous Orb. It's basically, want Giratina's full power? Please present one Pokemon God. For a long time Sunkern was infamous for having one of the lowest base stat totals ever, but in Earth Gold and Soul Silver's Pokathlon Sunkern got the funniest redemption arc. In that minigame system Sunkern is one of the very few Pokemon that can hit 5 stars in every single Pokathlon stat, and the list it's in is ridiculous because it's hanging out with things like Arceus, Mew and Ditto. So yes, in battle it's a wet tissue, but in sports Sunkern is apparently an Olympic deity. Everyone feels like rock type moves miss all the time. Turns out that vibe is real. If you average the accuracy of rock type attacks across the series, rock is the least accurate attacking type overall. So when Stone Edge misses at the worst possible moment or Rock Slide somehow whiffs the target, it's not just your luck, it's the type's whole personality. And the funniest contrast, Ghost type moves on average tend to be among the most accurate. In Gold, Silver, Crystal, Kurt makes special balls like Love Ball, Moon Ball and Fast Ball, except some of them are coded wrong. Moon Ball is supposed to boost capture for Pokemon that evolve with a Moonstone like Jigglypuff and Clefairy, but due to a mistake, it boosts capture based on an entirely different evolution method. Love Ball is meant to work better on Pokemon of the opposite gender, but the behavior ends up flipped in a way that makes it work in the wrong situation. Fast Ball was clearly designed for roaming legendaries like Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, Pokemon that flee, yet the bonus ends up applying to a weird list like Grimer, Magnemite, and Tangela. So Gen 2 basically invented Pokeballs and then shipped a few of them with the instruction printed upside down. Before Generation 6, Azurill could sometimes evolve into Marill and end up a different gender than it started. Why? Because Azurill and Marill had different gender radius, and the way evolution handled the math caused edge cases. So yes, there was a period where evolution could basically say, congrats, you're now a Marill, also surprise! In Pokemon Sun and Moon, the Heavy Ball modifies the catch rate based on weight. Heavy Pokemon get easier, light Pokemon get harder. Now combine three things: a very low base catch rate, like 3, a Pokemon under 100 kilos, and the Heavy Ball penalty applying, and you get an absurd results. Certain Pokemons become mathematically impossible to catch with a Heavy Ball. This applies to Pokemon like Beldum and the Tapus in those games. So if you ever thought maybe I'll be clever and use Heavy Ball, absolutely not. In the original Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Thunder and Blizzard, they can have a chance to break through Protect-like moves in a way that basically no other regular attack does. And what makes it extra suspicious is that this behavior doesn't carry the same way into later Gen 4 titles like Pokemon Platinum. So either it was a scrap mechanic or Diamond and Pearl were just having a coding moment, which to be fair is extremely on brand for early DS Pokemon. In Diamond, Pearl and Platinum it's possible under a very specific set of bad decisions to get stranded on an island in the post-game with no practical way out. The classic cursed recipe is something like, you arrive somewhere remote, you don't have tools like a fishing rod, escape options, your team can't solve the situation and you can't progress to trigger a normal exit. It's one of those soft locks that you have to work to achieve, but the fact the game allows it at all is hilarious. If you think modern games are buggy, Generation 1 has a legendary level of chaos. There's a setup where you enter the Pokemon League with only one Pokemon with basically one usable move, and you intentionally remove all escape options. Then in a specific Elite 4 fight, Lorelei's Dugong is the famous culprit. The AI can get stuck selecting a move it believes is super effective even if it's functionally useless in the context. Meanwhile, your move can force you into an automatic loop, and because trainer Pokemon don't consume PP the same way, you can end up in a battle that doesn't naturally end. You save, you're stuck, and congratulations, you live in the Pokemon League now. Hope you like the music. So yeah, those were 10 Pokemon facts that sound like playground rumors, except they're real. Which one is the most cursed to you? The broken Pokeballs, the heavy Pokeball impossible catch, or the Gen 1 forever battle? Drop it in the comments, and if you want part 2, say so, because this franchise has 30 years of code and zero shame.